Hello, this is Phil and welcome back to underKG show. Today we got Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 10.1, which is a very close sibling of the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. So major differences starting from is there used to be a menu key right there as a Samsung heritage, and they finally replaced it with the multitasking key. This is sort of a software-wise, so we'll skip that, although that's one of the noticeable changes. And on the right, we can see that there's an S Pen right there, which is missing on the Tab Pro 10.1, which is what divides between the Note line and the Tab line. So that's that. And the Tab Pro 10.1 has a gigabyte less of a RAM than a Note 10.1, and the battery cover, the back cover more specifically, is a plastic on the Note 10.1 2014, and this is now a coated plastic. So this feels much better on your hand. Enough with the comparing between the others. Let's take a look at the device itself. On the top is a Samsung logo with the 10.1 inch of a Pentel LCD. That's WUXGA resolution. And there's a multitasking key, home key, and a back key. On the right is a speaker and the micro SD card slot, expandable up to 64 gigabytes, and micro USB port on the bottom. Kind of think that they should include at least USB 3.0 support if they're going to put the Pro name tag on it, but I guess Samsung doesn't think in that way. And on the left is a 3.5mm headphone jack with another side of a speaker right there, making the pair a stereo. On the top is a power key with the volume rocker with the infrared port for controlling your telly with the Samsung Watch On software. That's pretty much it. And let's get into the layout first. I don't know why Samsung always designed this in landscape, but I think tablets are more useful in the portrait mode. And power and the volume key right there doesn't really make a big of a problem, but the hardware keys over here, when you're holding it in your hand, it feels really weird, like you're tapping on there to go to the home. Or if you want to hold it this way so you can get access to the power key and the volume key, you have to constantly tap on it. So I don't know why they don't fix it. Maybe they just don't get it as a problem. The software itself, the TouchWiz is almost the same, except for the fact that starting with the Android KitKat, they included the so-called magazine UX. I'm not exactly a big fan of those curated home screens, so we'll skip this part. Scrolling from the top, we can get an access to the software info, which it has Android 4.4.2 KitKat. So we actually took this opportunity as kind of a sneak peek of what KitKat on the Note 10.1 2014 edition, God, that's a long name, is gonna be like. And it's not exactly that snappy. I thought, like, because the hardware itself is, we're gonna switch Nova Launcher for now, because the hardware-wise is one of the top-notch specs on the hardware of the tablet market. It's got a Samsung Exynos Octa 5420. That's a A15 plus A7 in the same main board. It's 2 quad cores, and it's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, and depending on what you do, it might be enough and it might not be. And looking at the RAM manager, we only have 500 megabytes of RAM left. And since the Android takes care of your multitasking and the background applications, we don't exactly have to worry about it, but it's certainly not as spacious as a 3 gigabyte of RAM. And storage comes in 2 versions, 16 gigabytes and 32 gigs, and that's pretty much it. And the display, we have to talk about the display. The Pentel, there are really a lot of people who really hate the Pentel layout on the displays, and I'm not exactly that much of a hater of the Pentel, but I do have to mention that the icons are not as crisp as I want it to be, and the red colors on those Pentel display are seriously out of their color tones, what they're supposed to look like. So that's a little bit of disadvantage, although I don't think it's huge negative to the tablet. It's not like, because the Note 12.2 had a terrible display. It was like all those jiggly dots were really able to be seen with my eyes, but this is not as bad as that. All right, that's that. And the sound quality is actually pretty decent. Samsung has boosted up their sound quality starting from the Galaxy S3, and the stereo speakers right there are quite enough to fill up your room with the sound quality. Not exactly so impressive. just because the iPad Air has such an impressive speaker with the almost like a bass on the speaker, and the camera isn't exactly amazing either. Although the camera on the Galaxy Tab Pro 10.1 is one of the best one on the tablet with the 8 megapixel camera, but it's not as good as what you will see on a phone's 8 megapixel camera. So that's that. And the battery life is just about the moderate. You can handle it about full usage of a day, but it takes forever to charge the battery. So I did hear some people waiting for the Snapdragon 800 version, so you can have the fast charge. I'm not really sure if that's gonna come first or second, if that's gonna be that effective as people want it to be. And the overall interface is not exactly as snappy as I want it to be. When the Chrome pops up, when you're shifting through the pages, it's not as responsive as I want it to be. There could be many reasons, but I've been expecting for Samsung KitKat a long time, and I'm definitely not satisfied. So the thing is, I really don't know what this is for. It seems like Samsung is now making a proper cut between the Tab and the Note, and between the pros and nons. So pros are like those major mainstream tablets, and the non-pros, like the Galaxy Tab 3s and such, are more of a low-end, cheaper sort of device. And I don't know where this guy sits in, because there is, talking about the size, the Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4 was like the ideal tablet size on the Android market, and it was doing really good with almost no competitor on the market. The G Pad was so terrible that I don't even count that as a comparison. So that had its place. And the Note Pro 12.2, although I couldn't bring it because it's too big to be fit in the screen, was like no one else. Like no one else was making, and probably will ever make, that big of a tablet. So it has its place. But what about the 10.1? Is there a reason that we should get a 10.1 inch of an Android tablet? If there is, then there is a Note 10.1 2014 edition. Although it's a step back from the Android operating system with the 4.3 on it, it's still one of the best hardware on its market, and it's doing really good with the S Pen. So there might be a question if there is anyone who doesn't want the S Pen and with the same hardware and the better software version. But then this guy is even cheaper. It could be perhaps because it's been a while since the 10.1 was launched, but when there's a tablet with the same design and the better specs and the same operating system coming very soon, I don't see any reason why you should get a Galaxy Tab Pro 10.1. If this was the only tablet on the 10.1 inch market, I would get it, but it certainly is not the case. All right, so that's my final verdict. If you really crave for an Android tablet that's in 10.1 inches, get a Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. That's even cheaper with the gigabyte of RAM and an S Pen support, which is important somehow. And it's not going to hurt you even if you don't use it. So that's my final verdict. Don't forget to tap on there to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys back in the following reviews of the other phones and tablets. Thank you always for watching.